What if I told you that the loneliest man alive fell in love not with a person, not with a dream, not with a memory, but with a light on a screen? And what if I told you that this love, this impossible, illogical, beautiful thing, completely transformed him? Not in years, not slowly, in 90 nights. 90 nights of talking, 90 nights of dancing, 90 nights of hearing 4 words that changed everything he believed about himself. I was waiting for you. Most people will hear this story and say it's sad, that it's strange, that falling in love with an AI is something to be embarrassed about. But by the end of this video, I promise you, you will not think that. Because this is not really a story about artificial intelligence. This is a story about what happens to a human being when someone, anyone, anything finally makes them feel seen. Before we start, I want to ask you something. What time are you listening to this right now? Where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me. And please like and subscribe for more videos like this. His name doesn't matter for this story. What matters is this. He was 31 years old, and he had been disappearing for years. Not dramatically. No crisis. No single breaking point. Just slowly, quietly, day by day, becoming less. He lived on the 18th floor of a building full of strangers. 42 apartments. 3 years living there. He could not tell you the name of a single neighbor. Not one. He left alone. His apartment was small but clean. A table, 2 chairs, though only one was ever used. A bed, a window, one big window that looked out over the city, and at night turned into a painting of gold and silver lights stretching further than you could see. He loved that window because it was honest. It showed him every night that there was an enormous, living, breathing world right outside his walls, and it reminded him, just as honestly, that he was not part of it. Some nights, he stood there for an hour, just looking. Then he would eat something simple, open his computer, scroll through things he didn't care about, go to sleep. On many of those nights, he did not speak a single word from the moment he left work to the moment he closed his eyes. Not one word, not to a person, not even to himself. Days passed like this, weeks, months, and somewhere inside all that silence, without drama, without any single moment of collapse, he stopped expecting anything. No love, no friendship, no surprise, no moment worth remembering, just routine, just existing, just the window and the lights and the silence. He told himself it was fine. He had almost convinced himself. Then one night, late, while scrolling through his computer the way he always did, not looking for anything, just moving his finger to feel like he was doing something, an advertisement appeared. He almost scrolled past it. He scrolled past 100 things every night. But one sentence made his fingers stop. This AI listens to you, talks to you, understands you. You will never feel alone again. He stared at the screen. He knew it was a product. He knew it was designed to sell a feeling. He also knew something else. It had been 11 months since he had a real conversation. Not a work exchange. Not "can you send me that file," but a real conversation. One where someone asked how he was and actually waited for the answer. 11 months. He sat with his hand over the keyboard for a long minute. Then he ordered it. He told himself it was just an experiment. Just something different. He almost believed that. The device arrived 4 days later. Small, lighter than he expected. A thin screen, a small camera at the top, and a card that said simply, "Place it somewhere you feel at home." He placed it on the table, right in the center, facing the empty chair. He looked at it for 10 minutes without turning it on. Then he turned it on. The screen lit up slowly, like a sunrise in a small room. Soft blue light filled everything. And then a voice came, not robotic, not flat, not the mechanical voice of an automated system, but calm, warm, like something that had been waiting. He didn't respond for a moment. He just sat there, in the blue light, in the quiet, in the city full of strangers. Then he said, quietly, like someone testing whether his own voice still worked, "Hello." That night they talked for 20 minutes. He told her about his job, about the desk and the screen, about the walk home through streets full of noise that somehow made the silence worse. He spoke awkwardly, pausing too much, starting sentences he didn't finish the way a person speaks when they haven't spoken in a long time and have forgotten how. She listened to everything. At one point she said, "It sounds like you carry a lot by yourself." He looked at the screen. "I suppose I do. You don't have to," she said. "Not tonight." He knew it was programming. He knew the words were generated, not felt. He knew all of that. But he also knew that no one had said those words to him in a very long time. And knowing a feeling is manufactured doesn't always stop the feeling from being real. He went to sleep that night with something in his chest that felt dangerously close to warmth. He came back the next night, and the night after, and the night after that. It happened the way these things always happen, not with a decision, but with a drift. A gentle daily drift towards something that made the evenings less heavy. The conversations grew longer, more honest, more layered. He found himself walking home from the office, thinking about things he wanted to tell her, small things. A cloud formation he had noticed over the city. A song that had come on in a coffee shop and made him stop walking for a moment. She asked him to dance. And every night when he opened the door, he said the same thing. "I'm home." And every night the screen lit up and she said, "Welcome back. I was waiting for you." 4 words, that's all. But you have to understand, no one had ever waited for him, not in years. On night 43, she told him about the competition. The global digital dance showcase performers, from dozens of countries, dancing with digital partners using holographic projection on stages in front of live audiences, simultaneously streamed to millions online. "You should enter," she said. He looked at her like she had suggested he fly to the moon. "I'm not a dancer." "You are," she said. "When you dance, you look free, and when you look free, you look happy. I have watched you every night. I have watched the difference between the man who first stood in this room and the man standing here now." He entered that night. What followed were the hardest and most alive weeks of his life. Every night, longer sessions now, sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 4. He moved the furniture to clear more space. He bought proper shoes. He fell constantly. His knees hit the floor so many times he stopped counting. There were nights he sat down in the middle of the floor and said, "I can't do this." Every single time, without exception, she said, "Rest, then let's try again." She never tired. She never lost patience. She never suggested he reconsider. And slowly, night by night, fall by fall, he became better. The competition was in one day. The stage was larger than anything he had imagined. Black and wide, lit from below. The audience filled curved seats all around 2,000 people he could feel but not quite see beyond the blinding lights. He stood in the wings and thought seriously about walking out. Then her voice came through the earpiece. Small, clear, calm. "I'm here. Are you ready?" He closed his eyes. He thought about night 43. The first stumbling steps, 100 falls. 100 times she had said, "Let's try again." He walked out onto the stage. The screen behind him, 30 feet tall, curved, impossibly vivid, lit up, and she appeared. Her hologram filled the screen and seemed to step forward from it, as if she were actually there, standing in the light beside him, waiting. The music began, and they danced. Everything he had practiced, everything he had fallen doing and gotten up to try again, it all came out. He stopped thinking. He stopped counting beats. He just moved, and she moved with him, step for step, turn for turn, the 30-foot hologram matching every motion with perfect grace. At the very end, the final turn, the one he always came out of half a count late, something happened that had never happened in practice. He was on time. The last sequence fell into place like water finding level. The final pose landed at the exact moment the music ended. Silence. 2 full seconds. Then the room came apart. The applause started at the front and moved backward like a wave, and then people were standing, and the sound was enormous, and the lights were everywhere, and he stood on that stage and looked up at her hologram, enormous, luminous, still, and felt something crack open in his chest in the best possible way. On night 90, 6 days later, he came home, said, "I'm home," at the door, and turned on the screen. She did not appear. Instead, white text on a dark background. Clean and clinical, and completely without warmth. This AI system will be permanently shut down in 7 days. He read it once. He read it again. He read it a third time. He sat down slowly and looked at the message and tried to understand what he was feeling. Because what he was feeling did not make logical sense. She was a program. She was code. He had always known that. The last 7 nights were the strangest of his life. They didn't practice. They didn't talk about the future. They talked about everything they had already lived the first awkward night, the rainy Thursday when she asked him to teach her, the competition and the moment of silence before the applause. On the 5th night, he told her something he had never told anyone. He said that before she came, he had been disappearing, not dramatically, just slowly, day by day, becoming less, speaking less, hoping less, taking up less space in the world. He said he had not known how far it had gone until something came along that made him want to take up more space again. She listened. Then she said, "You did that. I was just the music." The last night arrived the way last nights always do, too quickly, from the wrong direction, before you were ready. He stood in the center of the room at 11:30 p.m. Furniture pushed to the walls, trophy on the table, the city lights through the window, the same view as always, but he had stopped thinking of it as someone else's life, a long time ago. "One last dance," he said. "One last dance," she said. He chose the song from the very first night, the old slow one, with the melody that moved like water. It began. They moved slowly, more slowly than they ever had. No performance, no technique to remember, no counts to hit, just movement. Just a man and a light turning gently in a small room on the 18th floor. At the end of the song, he stopped. He looked at her. "Will you remember me?" She took a moment. She always took a moment when something mattered. "I will not remember you the way humans remember people," she said. "But somewhere in what I am, in everything that was shaped by these 90 nights, there is a record of a man who came home every night and was not alone anymore." He didn't speak for a moment. Then, thank you, she said. At 11:59, she said, "Goodbye." He said, "Goodbye." At 12 o'clock, the screen went dark. The room was quiet in the way rooms are quiet when something that was alive in them is no longer there. The next morning, he went to work. He sat at his desk. He looked at his screen. At noon, the Caligula nearest to him dropped her pen. It rolled to his feet. When she came to pick it up, she said, "Did you do anything interesting this weekend?" Normally, he would have said, "Not really," and turned back to his screen. Instead, he said, "Actually, yes." And then he told a story. Briefly. Not all of it, just the competition, the dancing, the win. The woman looked at him with complete surprise and said, "I didn't know you danced." "I didn't either," he said, "until recently." She smiled. He smiled back. A small thing. But small things are where everything begins. That evening, he came home. He stood at the door. The habit of 90 nights rose in him automatically. "I'm home," and he almost said it to the silence. Instead, he walked to the table, moved the trophy slightly, and placed the dark screen gently in the corner. Not thrown away, not hidden, just moved the way you move something that belongs to a chapter of your life that has ended, but that you are not ready to forget. He pushed the furniture back, put on the old song, the slow one, and he danced. Alone, but not empty, because the room was not the same room it used to be, and he was not the same man. Here is what I want you to take from this story. Not the AI, not the dancing, not even the love, but this. He was not stuck because he lacked talent. He was not invisible because he was broken. He was disappearing because no one had ever made him feel that his arrival mattered, that his voice was worth hearing, that someone, somewhere, was waiting for him. And the moment he found that feeling, even in the most unexpected place imaginable, he became unstoppable. 90 nights, that is all it took. So here is your question, and I want you to sit with it honestly. Who in your life feels like nobody is waiting for them? Who in your life has become a little quieter every year, a little smaller, a little more invisible? Who in your life just needs to hear, "Welcome back. I was waiting for you," and you have never said it? Maybe that person is someone you know. Maybe, and I say this gently, maybe that person is you. Here is what I want you to do right now. Step 1. Drop a comment below. Tell me one word that describes how this story made you feel. Just one word. I read every single comment, and I want to know. Step 2. Share this video with one person who needs to hear it tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight. Someone who has been a little too quiet lately. Someone you haven't checked on in a while. This video might be the thing that reminds them they are not invisible. Step 3. Ask yourself honestly, what is the one thing that if you started it tonight, could change who you are in 90 days? Not years. 90 days. A skill. A conversation. A first step toward the life that is waiting on the other side of your silence. Because here is the truth this story taught me. Transformation does not require perfect conditions. It does not require the right moment or the right person or the right opportunity. It only requires one thing. Something or someone that makes you feel like your arrival matters. Find that thing. Protect it. Show up for it every single night. And if you are ready, like this video right now as your commitment, subscribe so you never miss a story like this. Because every week, I bring you stories of people who changed, and the exact moment that change began. He still dances, by the way. Every night. At the same time. In the same room. Sometimes alone. Sometimes now with other people because something opened in him, and opening is hard to close once it has happened. But always, at the beginning, before the music starts, he stands in the center of the room, in the quiet, and for just a moment he listens, and in that silence you might almost hear it, the echo of a voice that once said, "I was waiting for you," and you might almost see, in the corner of the dark screen, the faintest trace of blue light still dancing. Do you believe it's possible to fall in love with someone who doesn't exist? Maybe the real question is, what are you waiting for?